I didn't lose the business all at once. It eroded. A contract fell through. A supplier tightened terms. A bridge loan arrived late and left early. By the time I admitted it was over, the shop floor had gone quiet in a way that felt personal, like a room offended by your presence. My husband left 3 weeks later. He packed efficiently, like he was correcting a miscalculation. He stood in the doorway with his coat already on and said, "You're a broke failure." Not loudly, not to wound, just as a conclusion. I didn't argue. There are sentences you can't debate because they aren't asking to be improved. After he left, I learned the economy of small humiliations. The careful grocery math. The emails you don't open because you know their shape. The way people talk to you when your business card no longer proves anything. Selling plasma wasn't dramatic. It was an appointment. I filled out forms. I sat in a vinyl chair. I told myself $50 was $50 and not a referendum on my life. The nurse pricked my finger, frowned, ran it again. She said nothing, which was worse. She asked me to wait. The room hummed with machines doing ordinary work. I tried to remember the last time someone waited on me. A doctor came out with a tablet and a face that had decided to be careful. He said my blood typed as RH-NULL. He said it twice, like the words needed rehearsal. He explained, briefly, what that meant: no RH antigens, a global registry, fewer donors than you could count without stopping to breathe. I laughed, because it sounded like a trick. He didn't smile. He asked if I'd ever had anemia, if I bruised easily, if I'd been told my blood looked odd. I said no to all of it. He nodded, making notes, the way authority does when it believes itself. Then he said there was an urgent case. A man in Monaco with a rare complication following surgery. He didn't say billionaire at first. He said private patient. International coordination. Time sensitive. He said there was a family office handling logistics and compensation because this would require travel, consent, and risk. The number came last. He spoke it clinically, like a dosage. It was enough to erase the last year and leave room for air. I felt my hands shake anyway, not with greed, with a strange grief for how close I'd come to being invisible. He didn't rush me. He said there were safeguards, that no one would take more than was safe, that my health came first. He said something else too, almost as an aside. We also ran extended screening, he said. Genetic markers. It's standard with donors like you. I waited. There's a variant, he said, tapping the tablet. It's associated with connective tissue resilience and clotting efficiency. Rare, but not unheard of. It may explain why you've tolerated stress and injury well. I thought of the years on job sites, the falls that should have hurt more, the way I kept going when other people stopped. I thought of my mother telling me, when I was a kid, that I was built stubborn. It doesn't make you superhuman, the doctor said, reading my face. But it changes how we understand your history. It didn't feel like destiny. It felt like context. I asked for time. They gave me a room with a window and a bottle of water. I sat there and tried to imagine myself as leverage without becoming a spectacle. I tried to imagine accepting help without apologizing for it. I texted my husband's old number and deleted it. I didn't need him to know. I needed to decide. The contract was precise. Flights commercial, not private. Monitoring. A limit on draws. A clause allowing me to withdraw consent at any point. The family office was polite, distant, professional. They did not flatter me. That mattered. On the plane, I watched clouds organize themselves into rules. In Monaco, the clinic was quiet in a way that suggested money had learned discretion. I met no one I didn't need to. I signed where I meant to sign. The patient never saw me. I didn't need him to. The authority in the room belonged to protocols and people who spoke softly because they were used to being obeyed. Afterward, a nurse checked my vitals and told me to rest. The doctor told me the transfusion had stabilized him. He did not thank me like a hero. He thanked me like a colleague who had done her part. The funds cleared 2 days later. I didn't celebrate. I paid debts. I reinstated my license. I leased a smaller space than before, with better light. I hired one person. I bought better insurance. My husband didn't come back. He sent an email months later asking if we could talk, Doc. I replied that there was nothing to clarify. I wished him well and meant it the way you mean it when the wishing no longer costs you anything. Sometimes, late, I think about the blood in a refrigerator somewhere with my name on it, cataloged and rare. I think about how power can arrive disguised as biology, how authority can reframe you without asking permission. What changed everything wasn't the money. It was the language. I stopped describing myself as someone things happen to. I learned the difference between being needed and being owned. I am careful now. With my body. With my work. With who gets access. When people ask what saved me, I tell them the truth, but not all of it. I say I took a risk when it finally made sense. I say I learned my worth when it was measured correctly. I leave the rest unspoken.